You had to reach to the front of the line. You had to use your mind. You had to reach to become a student before you could teach. Let's reach and open our minds to the power of spoken word. Power of spoken word with Paul. Power of spoken word with Paul. Power of spoken word with Paul.
Hey, free thinkers. Um, my platform is mostly about marriage and getting married and working through some of the most difficult times in marriage. Because if anyone tell you that they've been married for a very long time and they never had any difficulties in their marriage, they're lying to you. They are truly lying to you. Same as in life, there's going to always be ups and downs, and you have to work through them. But how you work through them is very important. A lot of times, in marriage, everybody's yelling, but nobody's listening in. And sometimes you have some people listening, and some are not. You also have some people that are telling you things, and you're listening. And then when you do what they ask you to do, then they're saying to you, okay, this person listened. Now they find something else to come up with. You have to be confident in your marriage in order for somebody to come in and trust you and believe in you. Because if you're not confident in your marriage, then sometimes it seems as if that the person that you're with won't put confidence or trust in you to come and say anything to you or ask you anything. And you have to leave that space for both person to come in and speak to each other. Because if I tell you something that bothers me or hurtfully, and then we're having a disagreement, and then you bring that up as a point to throw a dig at me, then that's hurtful. And you shouldn't want to hurt the person you love. You need to be helping the person you love. So there are things in marriage that you're going to tell each other, and you should not weaponize it just because you don't like what the other person say to you down the line. And that's one of the issues in marriage, okay, that people go through. The second thing in marriage that people go through is that nobody's willing to compromise. And that's one of the biggest part of marriage is compromising. Now you say compromise. Compromise to a extent. If you're compromising, you should know, um, is this compromise going to better our marriage, or is it going to create a conflict in our marriage? Because some compromises, once it's met, actually, um, the marriage decline after that compromise is made, because the person who suggested compromise now feels that, well, if you could compromise this, then you compromise anything. So you have to make sure that the compromise that you're making is not one of feelings or emotional. It's one that makes sense. Facts. Okay? Does this compromise make sense? How does this compromise work? What is the end game of this compromise? Because if it's just to please somebody's emotion, and emotion goes away, you're gonna be left with a compromise that was emotional, and now the person looking at you like as if that, okay, you should have never compromised that. You're going to still be held to that accountability. Eventually, you're still going to be held accountable for that. Number two is drive. Okay, a lot of people get married off infatuation or feelings or emotions, and these are things that are limited, right? It's just emotion. It's not timeless. It's gonna run its course. You see a lot of celebrities that you're saying, wow, this person got divorced, and when you hear why they got divorced, it's that one outgrew the other one. But how do you outgrow somebody? You see how we use words? Because if I'm 35 and you 34, you say you outgrew me. How did you outgrow me? I'm older than you. You're not wiser than me. or you're wiser than the other person is wiser than you. You may have been through a little bit more, but that don't mean you outgrew me, right? And those are the things that people use to um, make themselves feel better of why they walk away from their marriage. And if you notice that they never do better with the next person or when they're by themselves, but they show a lot of pictures of them on vacations or doing certain things, but those are just pictures. They're not showing that when they go to bed, the loneliness that now occurs. Because there's nobody truthfully who's laying next to you. Because the new person is there for a reason, right? They weren't with you when you were growing, right? Establishing certain things. But now they're there because they want to get a part of what you have, a part of what you have earned, or have created, or worked for. Now they want a part of that. But the person that you were with was willing to grow with you and share part of that responsibility or part of that growth that you have. This person come in and don't care about that. They just want a part of it. Right? They don't care how you came by it, how hard you work for it. They just want to be a part of it. And 90% of the person that you grow with will more understand your finance and limit each other's spending to make sure that you're growing at the same pace. The new person that comes in don't care about that. They want you to spend on them, right? So money is also another factor in marriage that you got to make sure that you don't attain more than you could afford. Because we have people that buy things based on emotions that they want, not need, that they wanted this, but then the feeling goes away and now you're stuck with a bill that you didn't really need. You just wanted it. So make sure that you're financially secure before you start spending money on something you want, because the need is more important. You need food, you need water, you need light, you need gas, you need a roof over your head. You may need a car to travel back and forth depending on where you live in the United States or where you live in your area. You're going to need a way to get back and forth. But absent that, you shouldn't want things that are not necessary, right? That's how you started on a marriage. Don't create a deficit in your marriage and a hole to where now you're turning against each other because you created something that wasn't needed or necessary. We had to learn that in our marriage. We had to learn that, okay? That we put ourselves in a deficit that we had to work to get out. And there was times where, we felt that it was better for us to go our separate ways. But the debt was still there. The bill collector called her and the bill collector called me because the debt still had to be paid off. So moving on to the next person, the debt's still there that you both occurred, right? Occurred. So we stayed together and we worked out our debt and came out stronger, because now we learned, unless it's needed, we're not buying it. Okay? Unless it's needed, we're not buying it. So don't let money becomes the driving force of your marriage, because money is just a materialistic object that's needed to pay off what you need and what you want. It doesn't bring you happiness. It doesn't. Because it goes from your pocket to somebody else's pocket based on the things that you wanted and you needed. That's it. Happiness comes from within with both people. Things that you like, things that you share, things like that. So it doesn't always have to be about money. We learned that too. Also, you got to give each other space. Okay? And when I say space, you should be able to come in and have time to yourself. Both of you have time to yourself. Okay? And Because sometimes based on your job, you just want to come in and decompress before you start hearing things that happen to each other's job while you're still riled up in your drive in traffic and people cursing out in their cars and people crossing the street. You got to unwind from that, decompress from that. Then you want to have a conversation with your significant other about how did your day go? How did your day go? For the technology we have now, there should be no reason why you can't talk to your spouse a couple of times a day just to see how the day is going. My wife called me like 4 or 5 times a day just to see how my day is going. It's a beautiful thing because it shows her concerns. And based on the job I have, I try to reciprocate the same thing of calling her during the course of the day, and it doesn't decrease. Okay, we always make sure we're in contact with each other during the course of the day. So I say that for you guys that are getting married or married, you know, it's a relationship that takes work. And people say they fall out of love. You can't fall out of love when you don't know what love is. You can't fall out of love if you do not know what love is. So for more content like this, go to my page, Power of the Spoken Word, one word, to see more content like this. Have a good day, everyone.